Welcome back, Wolfpack. Vrolas here to more Fan Friday battles. This one's from Onohi, and I remember hearing that name a while ago. So good to see that you are still submitting, and this is with the Azukiss combo. Now here's the interesting thing about this submission. There's a lot of battles. There's 5 battles here submitted. That's kind of insane. That's some confidence right there. So seeing some submissions in style with all this whole Azukiss sweep shenanigans, we'll go see how it goes, and I can already see it. So that's just straight up follow me. Instead of having a Togetic using follow me, going to go with that Togekiss. Togekiss has its own pros to the strategy. Azumaril doesn't really care about that speed drop. It's already anticipating to be a very slow Pokemon. That follow me going to create some setup. Bisharp going to Iron Head straight onto the Togekiss for a lot of damage right there. Critically, it doesn't matter. That Togekiss was gone anyway. And then this is where it is, Azumaril with the belly drum. So I mean, we reviewed Togetic recently. We see these kinds of setups a lot. That you have Rage Powder, that you have something, and then you just go into a belly drum or some hardcore setup. And Azumaril taking that hardcore setup. So Dragonite now on the field, and I mean, that's just brutal right there. Going to have Dragonite with Azumaril. There's some major threats here that you have to be wary of. So Lapras is going to come out. Interesting tech bringing the Lapras, but Water Absorb on the Lapras going to come up big with that switch, and Dragonite going to Fire Punch on the Bisharp. Bisharp most likely sashed anyways, so Fire Punch not KOing, not a big deal. Bisharp going to Iron Head the Dragonite, Sucker Punch the Azumaril, trying to get some damage across. Dragonite's going to Fire Punch and finish off the Bisharp. And now we just kind of have to see what's going to happen with this Lapras. Lapras with the Freeze Dry. So going to try to hit that Dragonite for the super effective damage, and it will be enough to knock out the Dragonite. That's some craziness, and Azumaril gets the trade with the Play Rough. So in the end, we're at a 2 for 2 because of the way that this turn ended up playing out. So now we have Venusaur with the Azumaril. Things get a little more interesting. So it's Heatran. Heatran does not want that matchup. And we already know the Gengar. The Gengar doesn't have too many special things right here. So it's kind of like who uses Protect. Heatran can come in and Protect, and that gives Gengar some free time with a Sludge Bomb. So really, it's going to take a good prediction right here. But if you predict the Gengar, then you just Aqua Jet it, and that thing goes down anyways. So Heatran, there's the Protect right there. Now we're going to see what Venusaur's up to. Azumaril, there's the Aqua Jet, getting the prediction on the Protect right there. Gengar does go down, and that's going to be a pretty, I wouldn't say a backfire, but not the greatest thing for the opponent. The opponent goes for the immediate forfeit. Now, there were 5 submissions, so let's go and find another one from Onohi. Yeah, it's such a weird name to have to say, so let's go with this one. So I am liking the idea behind this strategy that it's one of those, you know, you find that setup, and from so many battle submissions, it looks like this is completely his style, and I love the idea behind that. That once you put in enough time, almost any strategy can become something entirely viable. That once you understand the ins and outs, you know what to look for on the opponent's team. You know what opponent patterns are generally brought against you. That generally, if you think one way, you go up against enough opponents thinking the other ways, it makes you think differently about the game, and then it's like, okay, I know where my weaknesses are, I know what my team needs, I swap out Pokemon. As you can see here, there's actually Hydreigon and Lucario, so maybe that just might be some team evolution, adaptation. There it is, so Togekiss going to follow me. We're going for all that. Togekiss now center of attention. Thundurus going to taunt, but because of the priority of follow me, Togekiss is the one taunted instead. There's the Azumaril with the belly drum because Rotom decided he had better things to do than get just straight up Aqua Jetted. Wasn't anticipating the belly drum. Boom. Free advantage right there. And now Thundurus in for some trouble because, I mean, that's going to be a brutal Aqua Jet. So Aqua Jet headed for the Thundurus, removing the threat that does the most damage to you. That goes away just like that. Togekiss also packing that Air Slash. Going to outspeed the tanky Rotom, gets the flinch shut down, and now Heracross is on the field. So I mean, Heracross, that's super threatened by the Air Slash, and then Rotom super threatened by the Aqua Jet, but we've seen him use the Protect without hesitation before. So it depends on how this goes. Azumaril going to Aqua Jet, just going to take out that Rotom. Rotom already effectively shut down. I guess trying to get that damage across with the Heracross, and Heracross going to use Rock Blast. So going to try to do as much possible to the Azumaril. Azumaril, very hit point bulky Pokemon though. It doesn't look like Heracross, even with its silly amount of attack, is going to have enough damage to get this Azumaril off the field. Togekiss, there's that powerful Air Slash I was talking about, and it's going to be enough damage. Togekiss rocking a very high amount of special attack. That's going to be game right there. Do we go for let's do it. Let's go for an unprecedented 3 submissions from the same person. Because, I mean, this battle's over. Mamoswine can't do anything, goes down to an Aqua Jet. That's 4 Pokemon in 4 turns in a double battle because of this ridiculous setup. And we're starting to see a trend here. Definitely starting to see a trend. So, as I was talking about, once you understand your setup, you get to do whatever you want. And now, I guess we're saving the best for last. Because this one's titled Greatest Battle Ever. Okay, I'll take it. We've already seen some great battles, but let's see the greatest battle ever. Is it Azukiss? Of course it's Azukiss. Why wouldn't it be? And there's a Mawile as well. So we've seen 7 different Pokemon, so again, different adaptations for different times. Mawile with Dragonite. What could that mean? What if Azumaril goes down and then we have Togekiss? I don't know. We just gotta take a deep breath. Focus on the matter at hand. Amoonguss not going for the Rage Powder, protecting at the threat of that Air Slash. So Air Slash, Amoonguss protects itself. Aegislash going to go for that stance change and going to immediately Iron Head onto the Togekiss. Togekiss barely surviving with that 5 hit points, but in any case, Azumaril untouched, free Belly Drum. Now we have to wait to see how this goes because Azumaril isn't going to have the best matchup against Aegislash. Like, the Aqua Jet is good, but you have to play around those Aegislash mechanics. The Rage Powder could also provide some problems. This is where it gets real, guys. Real game. Wow. So he switches out the Amoonguss. Goes into Milotic, doesn't want to take any Rage Powder chances, Spores, doesn't want the Air Slash, and Aqua Jet goes on to the Milotic. So, anticipating some kind of switch maybe? So we get some damage on the Milotic. That's going to be an Air Slash and then Shadow Ball. So it looked like Shadow Ball is going to hit Azumaril for some pretty, like, I don't want to say crazy damage, not enough to like really be surprising, but still a very strong hit. Togekiss heals with the leftovers, and I guess it was just like a pure Amoonguss follow, just understanding, well, Air Slash probably isn't going to KO, so the double Aqua Jet would be enough. Milotic going to come in and immediately protect, and Aegislash finally goes in that stance change, so really a super defensive turn. Going to give some health back to Togekiss, but going to also create some potential problems for Azumaril if he throws out the Aqua Jet. There's the protect, there's the King Shield, the opponent getting the mechanics down. Air Slash not going to do anything with Milotic, but now we have some things to consider right here. Aegislash already missing some hit points. So I mean, Azumaril comes in with that Aqua Jet in shield form, but it's only a +4 now, so it might not be enough. Milotic has a high chance of getting shut down by the Air Slash, but it's a switch out of the Aegislash into Amoonguss anyways. So we're going to see where the focus was. Azumaril going to Aqua Jet, +4, not even doing a third. I would say an Effect Spore going to paralyze Azumaril, and also the Rocky Helmet going to be ferocious, but Air Slash on the Milotic. If we get the flinch, Milotic doesn't do anything, and it was still a pretty worth turn, but Azumaril getting close right here to being knocked out, and I mean, it's got like one more good Aqua Jet in it. Togekiss can throw out the Air Slash, then Milotic's still a threat, so we just have to see. Amoonguss with the Rage Powder. Now Amoonguss isn't afraid of taking these hits, so that's going to be the Aqua Jet, no paralysis, into the Air Slash. Rocky Helmet's going to finish off Azumaril though. So it looks like Amoonguss like, yeah, I'll go down to trade off this Azumaril. I need it gone. So yep, that's how this is going to work. Air Slash going to finish off Azumaril, but because of that Rage Powder, Aqua Jet was at least hitting that as well, and Milotic getting the Icy Wind down. Too much Togekiss healing. That Protect turn actually giving Togekiss enough hit points to survive the Air Slash, but now it's slowed. But it might find a chance at some point, we don't know. So get some more health back from the leftovers, and now we get to see who comes in. Now it's Mawile versus the Aegislash. Always a ridiculous matchup. You don't know who's going to outplay who. where the Swords Dance is, where the setup is. Mawil's Intimidate, though. That's going to be a little bit of setup. Oh, but it's competitive, Milotic. Milotic just got a bit scarier. Aegislash is fairly weakened as well, and of course, it's Mega Mawile. So we might watch the Togekiss go down. We might watch Dragonite come in. Still a couple turns left in this battle, so might just be an Aegislash outplay at some point. You just have to not fall for it. You have to Sucker Punch at the right time when he's not trying to set up, and you gotta throw out other moves when he isn't. Like, you gotta, I don't know, it's something right there. So Togekiss, one last follow me, and Mawile going to play rough, but not going to do anything from that. So maybe not the last follow me. Double protect turn, again, double setup turn, and Mawile, he wants to play rough, wants to get Milotic off the field, and Aegislash going to be withdrawn, so doesn't like the way that the matchup is going. Salamence going to come in, and now this could be Mega Salamence. That could be big. The attack drops, trade back and forth. Togekiss with that follow me. So I mean, that's not really going to mean too much, because we know that Milotic wants to be using Icy Wind, but instead goes for the Recover this time. So the opponent getting a lot of free stuff right here, which is great switches and protects. This battle's now getting pretty intense. So I mean, you're left with the Dragonite against Salamence. Mega Salamence could cause some craziness, but Salamence not going to leave itself vulnerable. Goes for a straight up protect, trying to make those outplays. Togekiss going for the follow me. We know it's not going to be serious because of that, the Icy Wind, but instead, actually, never mind, not going for the Icy Wind. Togekiss makes a final sacrifice to not eat that Scald, to not potentially get Mawile burned. Play rough, gets soaked up by the Salamence. Dragonite comes into the field. Salamence gets withdrawn, so it looks like the opponent going to try to use Salamence as an intimidation method. This could be big because that's going to be rough on Mawile and Salamence, and the opponent's switching, really causing a lot of problems here, but Dragonite going to throw out a Thunder Punch. Not going to knock out the Mawile. Scald, not going to hit Mawile either, so I mean, we could see Thunder Punch doing enough to Milotic, but Milotic's got the Protect. So there's a lot of Protect, a lot of shenanigans here, and not enough setup opportunities. I mean, Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, Mawile actually getting a good Sucker Punch onto the Aegislash though, and it is enough. So a critical hit is going to take out the Aegislash at a very, very crucial time right there, because you can't risk Salamence switching in anymore or getting outplayed by the Protects. So feels the attack coming and actually makes the play right there. Salamence, I'm running out of breath. Whew, this is a very windy battle right here. So Salamence now dropping, you know, now dropping the attacks, goes for that Mega Evolution into Mega Salamence, and we've already seen, you know, Dragonite doesn't want the Milotic on more, doesn't want to start hitting up the Salamence. Mawile going to protect, just so Salamence doesn't do anything to it, but that's going to be an air-related return onto the Dragonite instead. Dragonite saying, well, I'll take that hit to knock out the Milotic, except Milotic doesn't get knocked out. Paralysis happens. Intimidate not being enough to create damage, but Milotic does get paralyzed. And Dragonite, I mean, does Milotic keep going for those protects? He's getting those outplays already. Seems like he is in the head of Onohi right now. Salamence goes for the Earthquake. Earthquake's not going to do anything to Dragonite or Milotic. Mawile going to eat the full brunt of that Earthquake, but at least has enough defensive bulk to survive. Critical hit back. Thunder Punch, this time headed for the Salamence, so not completely in the mine. Mawile getting off that play rough. Is the -2 play rough enough to knock out the Salamence? No, it is not. Dragonite not having enough to take out Salamence. Now here's where the plays come in. We know that Salamence has Protect. We know Milotic wants to do something, but the Sucker Punch, safety onto Salamence, and then the Thunder Punch going to take out Milotic in the end. So the opponent really fighting pretty hard, almost getting enough outplays, but didn't have enough to really follow through. And that Sucker Punch, after throwing it out enough times, it eventually worked. And yes, I will agree, great battle. I'm done with this though. Let's get to the last Fan Fridays after this. My goodness. Azukiss. Gotta say it's strong. Gotta say it's strong.